Imagine if you woke up and every single thought that had ever haunted you, every worry about the future, every regret from the past suddenly disappeared. Just for a day, just for 1 hour. What would that feel like? Really think about that for a second. No anxiety pulling you forward, no guilt yanking you back. Just this moment right now, stretching like a calm ocean around you. That's the power of living in the present. But most of us never get there. We're trapped in a prison of our own minds. And the door is wide open, but we never walk out.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound insights.
You're not alone. We've all felt it. That rush of fear when we think about what could go wrong. That sting of shame when we remember what went wrong. But here's the truth. The only place any of us have ever truly lived is right here, right now. The past is a memory. The future is imagination. Everything real is unfolding in this very breath. And yet we spend 90% of our lives in places that don't exist anymore or don't exist yet. Why? Blaise Pascal once said, "All of humanity's problems stem from man's inability to sit quietly in a room alone." He wasn't exaggerating. If we could truly sit with ourselves, without distraction, without noise, without the constant buzzing of our phones or the chaos of our thoughts, we'd start to see what's underneath. And underneath all that noise is peace. Not the kind of peace you get when you check everything off your to-do list. I'm talking about the kind of peace that can't be disturbed by anything on the outside. But it's terrifying, isn't it? Silence, stillness, presence. Why does something so simple feel so hard? Because presence demands that we face what we've been running from. When we stop escaping into the past or the future, we come face to face with ourselves. And that self might be scared. It might be wounded. It might be longing for love. But until we meet that self, we can't heal. We can't grow. We can't be free. Think about this. When was the last time you ate a meal and truly tasted it? Not while watching TV. Not while scrolling. Just you and the food. When was the last time you listened to someone not waiting to reply, not judging, just listening fully? These are the cracks where presence leaks in. This is where life becomes real. And yet we treat these moments like obstacles to the next big thing. But the next big thing never comes. It's always now. Living in the present doesn't mean you stop planning. It doesn't mean you stop learning from the past. It means you stop living in those places. You visit them, sure. You learn, you prepare. But then you come back. You return to the only place where life actually happens. Right here. Right now. Let's go deeper. The present moment is uncomfortable because it's raw. It's unfiltered. It doesn't allow for illusions. But if you can learn to be here, even for a few seconds at a time, you begin to notice something extraordinary. There is no fear in the now. Fear needs a future. Regret needs a past. But the now, it's just breath. Just sensation. Just being. And in that space, there is a kind of sacred stillness. A silence so profound it almost feels like the universe is holding its breath with you. The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Confine yourself to the present." He ruled an empire, and yet he knew the empire of the mind was even harder to govern. He wasn't telling us to ignore the world. He was telling us to master it by mastering ourselves. And mastery begins with attention. Where is your attention right now? Is it here? Or is it somewhere else, drifting into worry or distraction? Ask yourself something truly deep. Who are you without your thoughts about the past and future? Strip those stories away. The successes, the failures, the dreams, the fears. What's left? That's not a rhetorical question. That's the doorway to awakening. Because what's left is consciousness itself, awareness, the observer. And that observer is always at peace, always whole. But how do we train ourselves to stay in the now? It's not a one-time decision. It's a practice, a discipline, a kind of rebellion against a world that constantly pulls us away from ourselves. Meditation is one way in. Not the cliché version where you sit like a monk and try to empty your mind, but the real kind where you simply sit and notice. Notice your breath. Notice your thoughts. And most importantly, notice that you are not your thoughts. You are the one watching them. Another way is through radical presence in daily life. Next time you walk like it's the first time. Feel the ground under your feet. Hear the sounds around you. Smell the air. Every act becomes sacred when you bring full attention to it. Washing dishes, closing a door, holding someone's hand. These are not chores. These are portals to now. It's not easy. Your mind will resist. It will scream for stimulation. It will chase the next hit of dopamine. But every time you bring it back, every time you say, "No, I'm staying here," you build the muscle of awareness. And the more you build it, the more peace begins to rise up from within you. Not a peace that depends on circumstances, not a peace that comes and goes, but a peace that is. And here's something wild. The more present you become, the more time seems to slow down. That's not just a feeling. Neurologically, when your attention is fully absorbed in the now, your brain processes more information per second. So your experience of time expands. Presence actually stretches life. That means the more present you are, the more life you live. Not in years, in depth. Imagine living 10 times more deeply and feeling 10 times more fully, loving 10 times more openly. That's what I mean by 10-sing your piece. It's not about adding more. It's about subtracting everything that isn't real, everything that isn't now. But don't just believe me. Test it. Right now, wherever you are, take one slow breath. In through the nose, out through the mouth. And for that one breath, let go. Let go of everything and just be. That's it. That's the door. That's the secret path that's been in front of us all along. The irony is, we've been searching for peace like it's somewhere else, someplace we'll get to if we just work hard enough, earn enough, achieve enough. But peace isn't at the end of a road. It's the road itself. It's how you walk. It's how you breathe. It's how you see. And once you taste it, even for a second, you'll start to realize that nothing else compares. If you're still here, something inside you is waking up. Maybe it's just a flicker. Maybe it's a fire. But it's real. And it's calling you to remember who you were before the world told you who to be. That's what presence does. It doesn't just quiet the noise. It reveals the truth, and not the kind of truth that can be printed in a book or spoken by a teacher. The kind of truth you feel in your bones, in your breath, in your being when you're fully here. But presence isn't passive. It's not just sitting in calm. It's an act of courage, because to be present, you must feel everything. Not just the good, not just the easy. You must be willing to feel the grief, the loss, the shame, the ache. You must stand in the storm without flinching. And that's where most people turn away. Because presence doesn't numb you, it awakens you. And awakening can hurt. But as Carl Jung said, there is no coming to consciousness without pain. Here's the paradox. The pain we avoid by escaping the present is the very pain that can set us free if we face it. Every time you distract yourself from your anxiety, you teach your nervous system that the anxiety is dangerous. Every time you run from a difficult memory, you reinforce the belief that you're too broken to heal. But when you turn toward those feelings with compassion, with breath, you start to unravel the fear. You start to reclaim your power. Let me ask you something deep, something most people never consider. What if the thing you're most afraid to feel is the key to your liberation? What if your sadness, your loneliness, your fear isn't something to fix, but something to witness, something to hold, something to love? We spend our whole lives trying to escape discomfort, but what if presence means finally saying, I'm not running anymore? Because when you stop running, something miraculous happens. You start to see that pain isn't personal. It's universal. Everyone you pass on the street is carrying some invisible burden. And when you're present, you begin to sense that. You begin to feel the humanity in every face. You stop judging. You stop comparing. You start connecting. That's another power of presence. It makes room for real intimacy, not just with others, but with yourself. You begin to listen to your own heart. You begin to hear the quiet voice that's been drowned out by years of noise. And that voice doesn't speak in fear. It speaks in truth. It doesn't shout. It whispers. And it says things like, slow down. You are enough. You are not alone. But let's talk practically. How do you live in the present in a world that's constantly trying to pull you out of it? There's no one-size-fits-all answer. But there are tools. Some ancient, some modern, all powerful. Start with breath. It sounds simple because it is, but don't mistake simple for weak. Your breath is the most direct pathway to now. When your mind is racing, when your emotions are spiraling, return to your breath. Not to control it, but to feel it, to anchor yourself in the body. In the breath, there is no past, no future, only sensation, only life. Then there's awareness of the body. Your presence isn't just a mental state. It's a full body experience. Feel your feet on the ground. Feel your spine lengthen. Feel the air on your skin. Your body is always in the now. It's the mind that wanders. Use technology wisely. Your phone is not evil, but how you use it matters. Every notification pulls you away from now. Every scroll is a tiny escape. What if you used your phone as a tool for presence instead of a trap? Set reminders to pause. Use apps that guide your awareness. Or better yet, Schedule time every day to unplug completely. Reclaim your attention like your life depends on it, because it does. Practice gratitude not as a cliché, but as a lens. Gratitude brings you back, because you can't be truly grateful for something unless you're present with it. Try this every morning. Find one thing to be deeply grateful for, not just mentally. Feel it. Let it sink into your chest. It could be the warmth of your bed, the sound of birds, the taste of water. These are the miracles we overlook. But they're always here, waiting to be noticed. Another practice, mindful speech. Before you speak, pause. Ask yourself, is what I'm about to say true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? When you speak with intention, you stay present. You stop reacting. You start responding. And your words carry more power. Let's go deeper still. Presence is not just a way to feel better, but it's a radical act of love. Love for this moment. Love for this life. Love for yourself. Because the more fully you show up, the more life shows up for you. Opportunities open, relationships deepen, creativity flows. You become a magnet for peace, not because you chase it, but because you embody it. But presence also brings you face to face with impermanence. Everything you love will one day be gone. Every moment is slipping through your fingers as you live it. That's not a reason to be sad. It's a reason to wake up, to savor, to honor, to hold nothing back. As the Buddha said, do not dwell in the past. Do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment. We keep thinking we have time, but we don't. Not really. And that's why this matters. Because every moment you spend distracted is a moment you'll never get back. Every moment you spend chasing the future is a moment stolen from your own life. The present is fleeting. But it's also infinite, because it's always here, waiting for you to return. And when you do return, something incredible happens. Your peace multiplies. Not because life is perfect, but because you stop resisting it. You stop arguing with reality. You stop wishing things were different, and instead, you meet life as it is with open eyes and an open heart. That's presence. That's peace. And yes, there will still be challenges. There will still be heartbreak. But when you face them from presence, you face them with power. You don't collapse. You don't numb. You feel. You breathe. You rise again and again. That's the gift of now. It doesn't protect you from life, it prepares you for it. So here's your challenge. For the next 24 hours, catch yourself every time you drift away. Every time your mind pulls you into the future or the past, gently return. Say to yourself, this is the only moment. And then live like it's true. Not because it's easy, but because it's the only way to really live. We've come far, but the journey to presence isn't linear. It's not about arriving. It's about returning again and again. And each time you return, you go deeper. You see more. You feel more. You live more. The present moment is like a well without a bottom. No matter how many times you drink from it, you haven't even begun to taste all it holds. But here's where things get even more profound. The more present you become, the more you realize that you are not separate from the moment, you are the moment. Let that sink in. You are not just experiencing life, You are life, unfolding in real time. The wind doesn't just blow past you, you are the wind. The sounds around you aren't outside, they're inside your awareness. The boundary between self and world starts to dissolve. And what's left is unity, wholeness. Not as a concept, but as a direct, living experience. That's the highest form of peace, when you're no longer trying to control the flow of life, because you remember you are the flow. This is why mystics throughout history have spoken in paradoxes. And Rumi said, "You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a drop." What does it mean? It means that when you become fully present, the illusion of separation fades. The ego, the part of you that clings, judges, fears, begins to dissolve. And what emerges is a vast, quiet awareness that sees everything, accepts everything, and holds everything in love. But let's get real. How do you touch that level of awareness while paying bills, raising kids, answering emails, and dealing with heartbreak? The answer is, you don't escape the world, you become fully alive in it. You walk through life like a monk in the marketplace. You bring presence to the chaos. You don't wait for stillness. You create it, right in the middle of your noisy, messy, beautiful life. Here's a question for you. What would happen if you treated every task, no matter how small, as a sacred ritual? Brushing your teeth, driving your car, talking to a stranger. What if nothing was mundane? What if every moment was worthy of your full attention? You'd discover something shocking. Life is already miraculous. It's our absence that makes it feel ordinary. We keep searching for magic in books, in gurus, in distant lands. But the real magic is in presence. When you're fully here, a leaf fluttering in the wind can move you to tears. The laughter of a child can feel like a symphony. The silence between words can say more than any speech. You don't need a new life, you need new eyes. And that's what presence gives you, new eyes. You start to see the beauty in the things you used to overlook. You stop rushing. You stop grasping. You stop demanding that life be different. And in that surrender, peace floods in. Not because everything is perfect, but because you've stopped resisting what is. Let's go deeper. Most people think peace is something you earn after solving all your problems. But real peace, the kind that can't be shaken, is not dependent on your circumstances. It's dependent on your relationship to your circumstances. You can be in the middle of heartbreak and still be at peace. You can be facing uncertainty and still be rooted in stillness. Because peace isn't about what's happening, it's about how present you are with what's happening. This is why presence is the ultimate superpower. It gives you access to wisdom, clarity, and strength you didn't know you had. When you're present, you respond instead of react. You listen instead of assume. You create instead of control. And in doing so, you become the kind of person who doesn't just survive life, you elevate it. You uplift every space you enter, not by effort, but by essence. But presence also requires something radical: trust. You must trust the moment. You must trust yourself. You must trust that even when life doesn't make sense, there's a deeper intelligence at work. And that's hard, because trust feels like vulnerability. It feels like letting go, and letting go feels like dying to the ego. But that death is where real life begins. So ask yourself, what am I still trying to control that I could surrender to presence? Maybe it's a relationship, a future outcome, a version of yourself you're clinging to. What would it feel like to lay it down, not in defeat, but in reverence? To say, I trust this moment to teach me what I need to know. That's not weakness. That's spiritual maturity. That's power. And once you taste that kind of inner power, the kind that comes not from force, but from flow, you'll never go back. You'll start to see that peace isn't something you chase. It's something you become. It's the natural byproduct of aligning with the truth of this moment. And the truth is always simple. You are here. You are alive. And that is enough. But there's a final layer, a deeper truth beneath all the other truths. And it's this: presence is love. Not romantic love, not conditional love, but the pure, unfiltered love that exists when all stories fall away. When you look into someone's eyes, not thinking, not judging, just seeing, that's presence. And that presence is love. When you hold someone's pain without needing to fix it, that's presence. And that presence is love. We're all starving for that kind of love. We think we'll find it in someone else, in some future version of ourselves. But it's always been here. It's always been you. You are the love you've been searching for. And you find it the moment you stop searching, the moment you stop chasing, the moment you arrive. So let me leave you with this. What if this moment right now is the most important moment of your life? Not because it's dramatic, not because it's special, but because it's real, because it's happening, because it's offering you a chance to wake up. Will you take it? Close your eyes. Take one last breath with me. Inhale deeply, hold it. Exhale slowly. Feel the silence beneath the breath. Feel the stillness beneath the noise. That's you. That's always been you. Stay there. And when you open your eyes, don't leave. Don't rush back into distraction, into mindless motion. Move slowly. Speak softly. Love deeply. Be here. Be now. Because this is how you live in the present. And this is how you 10x your peace.